Hey guys, and welcome back to another Access 72 video. In today's video I'm back with another interview. I'm here with Mathew Rennie. Mathew, how are we?
I'm good, mate. How are yourself?
I'm doing great, mate, and I very much appreciate you coming on the channel today.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Nice one. And so am I right in saying you're a 24-year-old welterweight who's 9-0-1?
That's correct. Yeah. Well, I've been hovering around the super lightweight at the minute. I'm just kind of been coming in about 144 pounds, 143. So I'm looking to compete at super lightweight. You know, when I start fighting for the titles and stuff.
Okay, that's good to hear, and I'm sure it won't be too long until you are fighting for these titles. And so if you are new around here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need like the video, and let's get straight into it. So, going to start off with the question which you always like to start off with. Why did you start boxing?
My older brother done it, so it was just following his footsteps. Really. I've got two brothers, one younger, one older. And there was, at one point we were all doing it. I think we even all boxed on, you know, as an amateur, we all boxed on the same show.
Right.
And that was it. It was just I followed my brother's footsteps. I had a lot of energy when I was a kid too. I played football. I was into all sports really. I'd give anything a go. But I think it was more just obviously as I just repeated myself there, follow my brother's footsteps. But I needed to burn energy, and it was the best way to do it really.
No, indeed. And so, do your brothers still box at all, or have they kind of packed
Well, my older brother, he was doing well. I think I'm originally from the Isle of Man, so we get to represent the Isle of Man in the Commonwealth Games, which me and my older brother had both done. Obviously, my older brother done it before me, but then he kind of got to the point where life took over and jobs and kids come along, and he went a different direction. My younger brother, he was doing well, but he's just gone travelling to Australia. But I think when he comes back, he kind of dips in and out. One of these lads that's he's got the talent, but doesn't really put the work in too much sometimes.
No, definitely, fair enough. And so, just to speak about your I suppose amateur achievements, you've just kind of mentioned one there. And so, what would you say was your biggest achievement from the amateurs?
Yeah, but probably would be the Commonwealth Games, because I won silver at the Commonwealth Games, and I was very unlucky not to win gold. It could have easily been gold. It was a close decision that went the other way, obviously, against Ireland. But I've also represented England in the European Championships. I've won the Northwest Championships numerous times. Box Cups, won gold in Haringey, and I've kind of travelled the world boxing. I've been to New Zealand. The Commonwealth Games were in Samoa, Denmark, Holland. So, I did box at a very high level as an amateur. But the Commonwealth was definitely the number one thing, because it was also a bit of history for the Isle of Man. As I was the first boxer to ever win a fight in the Commonwealth Games. But not just that, I think I was maybe the second person only to ever medal. Wow. So it was obviously a bit of history making too.
No, definitely. And I suppose with the kind of state of amateur boxing at the moment, of course, I mean, there's been talks, and I believe it is happening, that boxing is getting taken out of the Olympics. So I suppose like the Commonwealth Games is going to become so important for just kind of amateur boxing as a whole, isn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't know. Is it going to be taken out for the 2024?
I believe
Paris,
it could be. If not, then it'll be the next one.
Well, yeah, it's crazy, and I think that's why people are maybe turning over sooner rather than later, because that's obviously the biggest thing you can do as an amateur is to go on and win a medal in the Olympics, and now that's getting taken away. People are going to just start diving into the pros, maybe a bit younger.
And so, yeah, let's speak about why did you end up turning professional when you did?
I kind of just lost the buzz when I was an amateur. I was up and down. The GB headquarters are in Sheffield, and I remember going up there every second weekend, and I was thinking to myself, like, I should be loving this. I'm doing what I love to do. But if I'm going to be truthful, I wasn't. I was kind of like, it was becoming a bit more of a chore, and I ended up taking a little break from amateur boxing, where I was kind of dipping in and out, and I was getting to 18, 19. Not that played a part, but when you get to their majors, sometimes, you know, distractions pop up. But I ended up screwing my head back on and stuff, and I got back into boxing. I moved away from the Isle of Man, moved to Liverpool, and I had 1 year as an amateur, and I wasn't very active in that year, and I just thought, if I'm going to give it 100%, give it a go, I just thought, turn pro, a new clean, a clean book, a clean chapter really, and get that buzz back, and I did. As soon as I turned pro, it was like just a new chapter to my life.
No, indeed, definitely. And of course, in the professional side of things are going very well for you so far. Of course, unbeaten in the professional side of things. And so out of these 9 wins you've had, which one would you say you've performed your best in?
Probably my last one. I feel like my performance, I've got better every fight. I feel like I've always been 1% or 2% better in every fight, which is good, because that's what you want, because at least you're improving. And obviously the fights have been getting gradually a little bit harder as I've been stepping up. But my last fight was another lad who was undefeated too. It was 50-50 on paper, and it was a good fight and a tough fight, but a fight that I won the fight clearly, but I had to work every second of every minute. And I think it was my skills that paid the bills basically on the night, which I got to showcase a bit more of myself.
Indeed you did, and I mean that also comes with the fact of it being your first 6-round fight. And so how comfortable were you in that being your first 6-rounder?
No, that was my third.
Oh right,
okay. That was my third.
Sorry about that.
So what happened was, it was an easy mistake, because I'd done a 4-rounder before, the one before that.
Okay.
Basically I had 2 6 rounds, and then I had a couple of fights planned that fell through.
Right.
And it got to the point where I think I had 2 back-to-back camps with no fights. And it was it was a 4-round that popped up before Christmas, and it was like just to get me out.
Okay.
So we just took it just to keep active and keep busy, and then obviously back to the 6 rounds. I've got another 6 rounds scheduled in May, and then hoping after that one, that'll be my last one, I can start stepping up again to maybe 8 and 10s.
Indeed. Okay, and so I mean, just to speak about the fact of having fights, kind of having the camps done and then fights not go ahead for whatever reason, can it be frustrating, and what can keep you motivated when you do have, especially if you said back-to-back versions of that? How annoying can that be?
No, definitely, it's hard. Obviously, you've probably heard it from a lot of boxers at my level. There's not a lot of money in boxing at this time, or at this part anyway. Obviously, when you move up and you reach the top, you might start getting a bit more money. But I had to, with them 2 camps and no fights at either of both of them, it did take a lot out of me, mentally and physically. And there was times where I was thinking at any point, could I just go get a job and get a wage every month and stuff, and these thoughts do start creeping into your mind. But then I always remember like why I'm doing it, and it's easy to quit. Do you know what I mean? That's the easy option. But I want to try to make something of myself, and I feel like I've come too far now to just to quit. I want to just try to prove myself right in a way. I know I can go far in the sport, and that's what I plan on doing basically, and that motivates me alone, just to try to challenge myself.
No, definitely, that's good to hear. It's good to hear. And I mean, with your wins at the moment, you've got the 9 wins, but you haven't quite got a stoppage yet, if I'm right in saying. And so, how kind of annoying can it be to go into fights and just see that you're not quite getting the stoppages? Of course, you win in dominant fashion, but how far away do you think you are from being able to get these stoppages?
No, yeah, I mean, it's obviously I'm always working on it in the gym, and I know I do hit hard. It's just my record doesn't obviously suggest that, but in a way it could be a benefit to me, because people might come into the ring thinking I've got no power and they'd be surprised. But I think one thing I've noticed is these journeymen that you do fight, they know, like, they know how to survive. It's like it's a different sport almost to them, where they're just going in to survive, and it's very hard to find openings. So every fight's a learning fight, but my first 5 or 6 fights, especially them first 5, they were just like, it was all new to me. And also I've had a change in the gym, so I've had a different coach. it's one thing. My power's there, definitely. We've been working on power, and I do know the knockouts will come more so when the competition gets better, because it's easier to find openings because you're both coming to win. There's going to be openings there where you get someone who's maybe not coming to win and just coming to get the rounds and go. It's hard to find the openings to get them out. But if I won 100 fights all by points, a win's a win, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
No, definitely, indeed. And so, I mean, you're at a good point of your career now. I'm sure it won't be too far away until you are fighting for belts. But what would you say is your main motivation at the moment?
As I said before, just challenging myself. I've already sacrificed a lot, you know, and I've got a lot of people not depending on me, but a lot of people have put I don't want to let other people down, like my family and people who are sponsors and stuff, and friends that are supporting me and backing me. That motivates me too. You know, when I'm in the gym and stuff and I'm tired, or one day I wake up and I'm like, I could easily just stay in bed today. You don't. You get up and you go out and you do it for yourself mainly, but you're doing it to not let anyone down too.
No, definitely. That's good to hear. And so, of course, you've got this fight coming May 13th. And so, how's preparations overall been going for it?
Yeah, good. I mean, I had my last fight was March the 4th, and I was straight back in the gym after it. So it's not like I've had to get fit or anything. You know, I'm not really out of the gym. So fitness to me is not really, you know, it's not like I go off for a month and I'm eating everything and not training. You know, I'm always in the gym, so that benefits me. It gives me a bit of a head start. But yeah, training's just. Or every day I'm in the gym, I'm learning anyway. There's always an objective, you know, to get from every session, and we're not just going in and just plodding. And I think from next week I'll be up in the sparring a bit more. I think I'm 5 weeks out at the minute, so I'll probably have a good 3-4 weeks of sparring 2-3 times a week. At the minute, it's just been quite quite comfortable, to be honest. Sorry, did I go off there?
No.
Quite comfortable, to be honest, the training, just because we don't want to overdo it. Because I kind of went from one camp straight into another camp. And you don't want your body to become, you know, overdone, basically. Course, so it's kind of making sure you don't peak too quick. And you want to peak at the right time.
No, that's a smart mentality. And do you happen to know your opponent yet for the fight, or not quite yet?
No, we haven't got an opponent yet. Probably get that in hopefully in the next 2 weeks at least. Sometimes at this point in my career, most of my fights I've not found out opponents maybe a week before. Sometimes even 2 days before. Wow. But my last fight was, I think, the only fight where it was like we both had a good 8 weeks. You know, we knew about the fight. But before all that, all my other fights have all been like a week or two, maybe a few days before the fight happens.
No, okay. And so can that be somewhat kind of difficult at times to prepare for an opponent if you don't really know too much about them?
Yeah, it can, but also I think that's where my amateur pedigree comes into play a little bit, because I was in tournaments where I'd maybe have, you know, 3-4 fights in 3-4 days, and every fight would have a different style. And you only got maybe 2 or 3 minutes to work them out, basically. And I don't think that's it. It's been probably a thing that I'm good at, is working people out quite quick. And I do think I've probably got a style for most people that is quite awkward. So if anything, it's probably more harder for them to work out me than it is for me to work out them.
No, that's good. Okay, and so just to speak about your style, for anybody who's not watched you fight before and might be coming to watch this upcoming fight of yours, what would you say makes yourself interesting as a fighter?
I think I pick my variety of my shots that I throw. They can come from anywhere, really. Sometimes I don't know what I'm going to do, so if I don't know what I'm going to do, my opponent probably doesn't know what I'm going to do. I can do a bit of everything. You know, I can box in the back foot and stand in front and trade, but I mean, anyone can stand in front and throw punches. It's not the most skillful thing to do. Obviously, skill in it, but there's a lot that I've still got to learn too. I don't ever stop learning in this sport, and I don't think anyone does. But I would say basically just the awkwardness of me. You don't know what's going to come next, basically.
Okay, that's interesting. And I mean, I suppose you've just had this fight in March, early March, and you've got this fight early May already, and so you're trying to have quite an active year this year.
Well, yeah, because of last year when I was what I said before about the two fights falling through.
Yeah.
I just feel like I need to make up for a little bit of lost time. Obviously, I'm only 24, so I'm still young. Got a lot of time to do what I want to do in the sport. So I'm not in a sprint. I'm in a marathon, as you say. But I do want to just. I think if you're a busy fighter and a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. So and it's easier to train when you've got fights coming up.
Yeah.
You know when you're getting up for them runs in the morning or whatever it may be. It becomes that a little bit easier because you've got that target ahead of you.
Definitely. And now that you just fought a undefeated fighter as well, and so now you've kind of up in the levels of your opponents. How far would you say, if you want to go down this route, would you say you're off maybe an area level title?
Yeah, well, I'd like to win the area this year if I could. I think someone won the area title this year, just the week after me. Okay. Super lightweight. I think they're from Yorkshire. So obviously I've been keeping my eye on that, and I don't know what's going to happen, whether they vacate or they want to defend it. But I think after May, I'll be sitting down with my team and maybe trying to, work out a plan where I could get that title in my hands this year.
That's good. And so it seems like you want to go down a kind of traditional route, which is always a good option. And so how far do you believe you can go?
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to be down that route, but if that route came, then whatever comes, whatever presents itself, I'll take, really. But if you asked me that question 5 years ago when I first turned pro, I'd have probably just said straight away, I want to be world champion. And obviously every boxer wants to be world champion, and I want to be world champion. But I do. As you go on, you understand the game. You understand the behind the. Like, forgetting about boxing, there's more to like the business side of it. I just want to just go as far as I can. And I listen to stories of people like Josh Warrington and these fighters that became world champion, and they didn't have any ambition, but they kind of had like they'll win a central area and then they'll go to the English, and they just kind of had one target at a time. It wasn't like they're going to be world champion straight away, and then next thing you know, they were winning like Commonwealth, British and European titles. Then you're thinking, bloody hell, the world title could be on the line here. And then, and that's my goal basically, is just to take it, if it's central area, and then whatever's next is next, and I'll just keep going until the sky's the limit, really.
It is indeed. And so I'll leave it with this final question, which I always like to ask. You've got a little bit of a platform here. Would you like to shout anything out?
Yeah, just all my sponsors, obviously. Like when you want fighting and stuff's not really going your way, it's without your sponsors it wouldn't be possible to keep going. For most boxers, I think they'd all agree they wouldn't be able to do it without sponsors. So I've got my top on here actually, with a few of the sponsors on there, but without them it's just impossible. And obviously as well, like ticket sales are massive. If you're a fighter that doesn't do many tickets, you're not really gonna do much in the sport. It's just the way it is. So everyone that comes out to watch me and they buy a ticket, without them, it's not doable. So I thank everyone for all the support.
No, indeed. And so thank you very much for doing this, mate. And maybe a little bit further along down the line we can come and have you back on the channel. Yeah,
hopefully I'll have a little title around me too.
Indeed. Great. Okay. And so
thanks for having me too, mate.
Been a pleasure. And so if you're on your around here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need like the video, and thanks for watching.